Marshon Lattimore talks his return, the offseason. This is the first day of Saints Minicamp. This was filmed on June 11th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshon Lattimore, the one and only. So, we have heard a whole lot about Lattimore holding out. We've heard a whole lot about the trades. We've heard about all that stuff, right? All these narratives that get thrown around there. Here's the deal. We've said it once, and I'll say it a million times. As long as the Saints have to kick these contracts down the road, and as long as they have to manipulate the salary cap and they have to put all these qualifiers in the contracts and whatnot, they pretty much have to put certain players on the block all the time because there is a chance that they have to move off of the player because of the contract. And so if that is the possibility, they will put them out there and see if there are any trades available so that they don't have to just run into a hardship situation with the contract and cut them or whatever else. It's just business, okay? It makes perfect sense. We knew that was going to happen with Lattimore. We knew that. And then Lattimore pseudo holds out. Not really, but then he pseudo holds out to basically say, I want a new contract. Obviously, he wants a new contract. So none of this should have been a surprise of what happened this offseason. Lattimore is in the building now, and we're going to hear from him in this video presented by, this is from New Orleans Saints, their own YouTube channel, I believe. So this is their put together video that they want us to see.
How is it being back?
Feel good to be around everybody. I missed it being here, just around the players, all the, just everything, the atmosphere. I just been chilling, at home, relaxing. I'm trying to get right for this, trying to get used. Well, I'm trying to get used to this weather. It's too hot out here, I'm trying to, but I'm glad to be back though.
How do you feel?
I mean, it really is. It's just out of control. It's too hot for anybody. It's too hot to do anything. I mean, you talk about a wake-up call. Did you get down here and welcome back? It's 140 degrees.
Feel physically coming in?
I'm good. I feel good. Ankle good. So
Good. Last year, big issue, obviously, with Marshon was the injuries. We know how good he can be. I mean, Marshon is absolutely not a surprise player. He is going to be one of the best cornerbacks on the field when he is on the field. Last year, he was hobbled. We had a lot of injuries last year, but notably, not having him available is a huge deal, especially as the game continues being more of a passing league. So, look, Saints secondary, really, really good. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a really, really good secondary. When you've got Marshon and Kool-Aid and Debo and Alontae Taylor and Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, it is a solid unit. So that is the bright spot of the defense. It will continue to be that as long as we have that group of guys there. And with Kool-Aid being added into the mix, I mean, there's no reason the Saints can't have one of the, if not the best, secondary in the NFL.
Everything up right now.
What's kind of the offseason just kind of been like for you with all the chatter, I guess?
I really don't care, to be honest, because it is what it is. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If not, then, I'm here. So I really don't get into it. I really don't feed into it, to be honest. I talked to DA already, and we good. So, I mean, everything else is just talk to me,
Was it annoying at all?
I don't care. I really don't. I ain't going to lie.
What is...
I mean, and that is something that is echoed by a lot of players, and I believe it. And you got to kind of put yourself in their shoes. I mean, these are high-level athletes who are talking about deals in the, for some of them, you're talking about $100 million. For Marshon, you're talking about probably somewhere pretty close if he's going to get a long-term deal, maybe even above that. So for him at the top of his game, talking about a contract with an organization like the Saints, trying to figure all that out, the last thing he probably cares about is the headlines on Canal Street Chronicles. He probably could care less what random Twitter handle number 5 says. He probably doesn't go on the Saints Reddit, right? So there is that huge gap between the noise and who's hearing the noise and does it affect the players. I don't think it affects Marshon one bit. I think he is very honest when he says it's just noise to him. And to back it up a little bit to the contract, same thing. Where put yourself in his shoes. If you are looking to make a whatever, 80, 90, $100 million contract, and you're in those negotiations, that's probably weighing on you. You know, like you probably want to get it done. You probably want to know, hey, is this getting done? And if it doesn't get done, you got to show up to work, and you've got to, whatever, basically play a season for potentially another contract, or as a tryout for other teams. If you're going to get traded, whatever it is, then it is what it is. Obviously, if Marshon could push a button, snap a finger, I think he would sign a long-term contract with the Saints. It's easier said than done, though, with the way our salary cap is and the way that we have to move stuff around. So it's no surprise, and Mickey has said this. Like, the Saints are better with Marshon. No doubt. The Saints are better when he's on the field. Can they figure out a way that it works financially with the way the Saints currently have their cap constructed? It's hard to imagine that. It's hard to imagine Marshon will be able to sign some big, lucrative contract that keeps him in New Orleans long term. Fingers crossed. We have a very talented financial team, but it is very, very tricky with the way that everything's set up right now.
Your standpoint on it, though, I mean, obviously you guys worked together on a contract that left some options open. Is it something you wanted to explore the idea of?
No. It was just we had a situation, a personal situation that we worked through, but it wasn't like I wanted to leave or he wanted me to leave and nothing like that. It was just, I don't know how y'all looked at it, but it was just a situation that happened, like, personally. But it wasn't nothing like that. Like, I wanted to leave. I told him like, I want to leave now.
And yeah, so from this point forward, like you said, if something happens, but you feel all in, committed.
For sure. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I got to be here. I got to be present. I'm not thinking about if I'm going to get traded or not, nothing like that. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't.
Do you feel like the air has been cleared between you guys to the point where everything's just, livable, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. I ain't got no problem with it. It's all business at the end of the day. I can't have no personal problem because, he want to trade me or something. Like, it is what it is. Everybody know what they come here and what can happen. You know what I'm saying? I've been hurt for 2 years, so I understand. People probably don't think, I'm the same type of player, whatever the case may be. But all I got to do is prove to people that I am, so.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. He kind of echoes what I was saying, and it is that simple. It's that simple of, okay, here's the contract. We're going to leave these options open. Some of the options will benefit the team. Some of the options will benefit the player. Some of the options are both. Some benefit both parties. And then if we can get something worked out, cool. If a trade comes in that we can't pass up, cool. If none of that happens and you have to play, cool. And for Marshon, it is kind of the best of all worlds because he's where he wants to be, and he has an opportunity to play for either a contract with the Saints or play for an audition to be traded to a contender, to a serious team where he probably will get a long-term deal. So it is one of those things where it's like 2 steps back in order to go 10 steps forward. But like he said, he's in the building. He has to be committed because he's playing for not only the team, he's playing for his future. So, and as a Saints fan, all you can ask for is a committed Marshon. If you get a committed, healthy Marshon Lattimore, you're ready to roll. Like whatever happens as far as contracts, that's out of my hands, out of your hands, out of his hand. So, this is one of those things where immediately this should squash any narrative or any concern or any what ifs that you may have as a Saints fan. All you need to know is right now, Marshon Lattimore will be on the field. Right now, he is the number 1 cornerback on our team, and he will be the guy who we entrust to shut down the best wide receiver we face week in and week out. Beyond that, it's out of everyone's control. So it's good to see him in here. I think he's got a good head on his or a good purview of how this is all going. It seems like he's in a good space, a good headspace for this. He doesn't have any ill will, doesn't have any hard feelings, and he's ready to roll.
So that's really falling on me, to be honest.
Was it a situation where you guys did need to kind of have that talk, though, just to get back to being on the same page?
Not for me, but of course, communication is the key for everything. So we talked through it, and, we made a plan for what I'm going to do this offseason and all that, and so that's all we did.
Best way to do it. Clear the air. Start from square one. Here's the situation. Here's the plan. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're going to handle this. Let's go. You don't want that tension to linger. You don't want the questions. You don't want all of that to be out there. If any of you have ever been in a situation with a job or whatever, where there's a contract dispute or a promotion dispute or a raise dispute, the longer it's in mystery, the worse, because then all kind of stuff can get mixed up. So having it all out there, just everyone's on the same page, communication is there, benefits everyone. That is the only way to do it. I'm glad that they've already had the conversation, and we're not going to be talking about this beyond this interview. After this, it's going to be on the field stuff. And then if something does happen later on, yeah, obviously we'll talk about that. But the narratives that we've heard, the headline-grabbing, clickbaity headlines, those will be gone.
Is there anything different you do? I mean, obviously the injuries, you can't, they're freak injuries, but is there anything you do training-wise to try to sustain longer during the season?
No. No, not really.
Marshon, you talked about everybody's always ranking corners, everybody's making lists. Yeah.
So,
well, you've had 2 injury-related seasons, so how eager are you to remind everybody?
I want to. I feel like I started last year like that, all-pro type of season to me, so I'm just ready to be better than that. Then
Cornerbacks are very similar, I think, to quarterbacks when it comes to tiers. Like, who's the 3rd best corner versus the 5th best corner? Does it really matter? Probably not. So I think they should all be lumped into tiers. Like the top tier, any of those guys can be the number 1 cornerback in the NFL, given on a week-to-week basis, play-to-play basis, game-to-game basis. I would comfortably put Marshon Lattimore in that tier. I would say at his best, and like he said, started last year, he probably is the best cornerback in the NFL. And cornerback is very volatile. Cornerback is the only position in the NFL where on one play, you can be the greatest player that's ever played. The very next play, you can get absolutely burnt for a 70-yard touchdown, and look like the worst cornerback in the NFL. It's very volatile, and it goes season to season. You got defensive player of the years who at the position who are defensive player of the year, and then the next year they're traded or cut. You can have players who are the best player on their defense on a good team. Next year, cut. Happens all the time. You can even see Hall of Fame players like Darrelle Revis go from he's untouchable to the next year, not that great. So it's a very volatile position, but right now, I would say Marshon is in the conversation with the top handful of cornerbacks. If you're, I always say, like, if you're in the Super Bowl and you have a 2-minute drive to win it, what quarterback do you want? If you're in a Super Bowl situation, you're in a 2-minute drive defensively, and you need someone to stop the best wide receiver on the other team, I'm very comfortable if Marshon Lattimore is that guy.
What I was, and I'm working towards that, so I'm just ready.
How tough was that for you just dealing with injuries, though, having not really dealt with them to the last 2 seasons?
Yeah, it was fluke injuries. Right. Really nothing I can do about it. It was the kidney and my rib, one like freak accident in my ankle. I got rolled up on, so it wasn't really nothing like my body breaking down or nothing like that. So I'm not really too worried. I'm just worried about getting my body all the way 100% so I can go out there.
It's kind of the question that was like 3 questions ago. Is there anything else you can do? And injuries are random. I mean, unless it is one of those things where it's like, degenerative, or it's the same injury over and over again, then it's not really random. But rolling an ankle, spraining an ankle, that's as random as it gets. I mean, I've seen people. I sprained my ankle. I mean, I had a high ankle sprain, absolute pain level 10 out of 10. And all I did was step off a curb. I stepped off a curb, kind of went into like a weird sloped area. If anybody's familiar with the restaurant Kingfish in the French Quarter, right outside of Kingfish, stepped off the curb into like a pothole type thing, a slant, rolled the ankle, absolute pop. Heard a crunch. It was a crazy situation. I heard the pop, heard the crunch. There was a second line coming down the road, so I had to get out of the street quick, or I was going to get trampled to death like Mufasa. And I get to the other side of the street. I'm limping. I'm hurt. I thought it was broken. And I ended up going to 2 Jacks, sat at the bar there, medicated myself with 3-4 martinis. It doesn't even matter, ladies and gentlemen. But it was messed up for weeks or months, really. And I'm not concerned with preparation. It's not my ankle. It's just a freak accident. So that's how that stuff happens. I mean, I agree with Marshon. I don't think he has to change his training or his diet or nutrition. It's just injuries happen. So I have no concern. I would not label him injury prone. I wouldn't say that. But it's good to hear from him. It's good to hear from the players that we've been wondering about. The Alvin Kamara interview, and now Marshon, and So we're starting to see it, ladies and gentlemen. It's starting to take place. It's starting to get real. Is it not? The season is right in front of us, and I am excited. No one is doing content like we are doing content this season. This is the place to be. If for some reason you are not subscribed, get on down there. Subscribe to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video.